Peace and blessings, everybody. I hope and pray that everyone is doing well, striving daily to do and be better, so that we can make ourselves and this place a better place. We woke up today, we're breathing. We have a lot of blessings to be thankful for. And sometimes it's hard to appreciate those blessings when things are hard and difficult, but that is a practice that I've been striving to work on myself for a very long time. That is counting blessings. We hear that phrase a lot, but what does it mean to count your blessings? It means that breathing is a blessing, a wonderful blessing. Having sight, having ears, having the ability to breathe, to smell, to taste, to touch, the ability to love, to be able to walk outside, to be able to move around, to be able to work, to be able to hug and care for and love, and so much to be thankful for. So even when you're in a storm, it is good to turn within, breathe, and count your blessings. So let us do that. As always, I want to thank everybody for being here, for watching the videos, for sharing the videos, for liking the videos. And even if you disagree with what I'm saying, I appreciate that you all are willing to listen, to be engaged for a moment. And I really do appreciate you. You motivate me to press on. Because like I said, my aim is to help, to assist, and I'm not just talking to a camera. I am sincere. This is what I am doing as best I can daily in the community out here with the kids. So I thank you all. If you want to see if I'm authentic, if you want to see if I'm sincere and I'm really about what I say I'm about, please check me out on Facebook. If any of you all are on Facebook, check me out. I'm under my name, Khalid Kareem. Check me out on Instagram, Khalid Kareem 75. Check me out and you'll see, the posts. You'll see the pictures. You'll see me working with the youth. You'll see me in the neighborhood with the youngins trying to pick the trash up, or doing, boxing training a little bit, or just talking to them. Having meetings with different organizations, and different people, and trying to add to, trying to be, I heard TD Jake say it one time, striving to be an asset and not a liability. So, please follow me, check me out, and I appreciate that. I want to speak again about PTSD briefly, because this relates directly to the life that I lived, the lives that so many people live to this day. And so, again, I want to read the definition, and I just want you all to stay with me for a moment, because it'll resonate in you. It'll resonate in you, because almost everybody watching that has reached out has expressed either knowing people who have this, or suffering it themselves. So again, it is real. It is serious, and we have to be mindful daily that everybody is, everybody is not as happy as they appear. Everybody is not as whole as they appear, and everybody is not as weak as they appear. There are reasons for everything. There are reasons for everything. I wrote a poem called "What Is Your Tale?" and I will read it another day. But when I see homeless, a lot of us looking like, when they come to our cars, we try to look the other way, or we look straight, hoping that we don't have to give them $1. And sometimes they stagger into the car. So we, say that, okay, he's a drug addict. If I give him $1 or some change, he's going to immediately go get drugs, or alcoholic. I say these things. Sometimes we may see a younger person and they're, on the corner asking for money. I'll go to 7-Elevens and where I am, or I'll go to some of the stores I may go to, and people out here asking for money. And I'm like, you're younger than me. You're agile. You have strength. But then I have to sit back sometime and I have to ask myself, what is that person's tale? Some of these homeless people out here are veterans. You know, they've been in combat, they've been in war, and they've seen things that many of us only see on television. But it wasn't a theater. It wasn't a TV show that they could just get up, walk around, and, you know, chalk it up as those Hollywood actors did a great job, and that's it. Nah, they've seen blood and guts. They've seen people dying. They've lost countless friends that they, you know, trained with and worked with and so forth and so on. And so we're seeing the results of PTSD. You know, allow me to read the definition again. It says, what is PTSD? And this is the definition by the American Psychiatric Association's post-traumatic stress disorder. Is a psychiatric disorder that may occur in people who have experienced or witnessed a traumatic event such as natural disaster, a serious accident, a terrorist act, war, combat, or rape, or have been threatened with death, sexual violence, or serious injury. Now, if you're watching this and you've experienced any of that, war, and that is combat, physical gunplay, then there are things that, if you know you're around, trigger that. If you grew up in the inner cities, the urban environment, then more often than not we have PTSD. I know children, because I was one, that we grew up, we hearing, you know, guns, we hearing shots, pop, 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 pop. And it makes your heart beat because you know that at the end of that shot, someone is laying down and they may not get back up, right? You hear arguments. You've seen fights as a kid. You've seen them in your own home and you've heard, you know, the smacks and you've seen the punches. And so when you hear arguments, it triggers something in you. And I've seen children retreat within themselves and get quiet and go in their room. And they just hoping that mommy and daddy stop arguing. They hoping that mama stops arguing with her boyfriend. They hoping that daddy stops arguing with his girlfriend. That auntie and uncle stop arguing. You know, that the guys in the neighborhood stop arguing. The girls stop arguing, because in you is the fear that at the end of it, it's going to be uglier, right? That's PTSD. You know, you have women that have been raped, that have been molested, that they don't want to be around men anymore because there's a fear in them. You see, there's a fear that that man, though he seems okay, might violate her. There's a fear in her that she doesn't have the strength enough to fight him off. So there are women who have retreated into themselves. You know, they stay away from males. They stay away from a lot of people. You know, there are those who that is the result of. Then there are those who become promiscuous. You know, I've read celebrities' biographies. And some of the women that we look at that are celebrities and that are singers and actors, actresses, and, you know, they'll sleep around, you know. And then you'll read their bio and they'll say that when they were young, they were molested. And now you're like, oh, okay. And then they further explain that they hated what they held precious to be taken. They hated it. And so now they give it away easily because they fear someone is going to take it. You know, that is PTSD. You have those who have just had to deal with so much. And life shouldn't be like this. You know, life shouldn't be like this, man. Children should be able to play and laugh and enjoy the environment and feel safe around the neighborhood. They should feel safe walking up and down the street at the playground. They should feel safe. You know how many children are being kidnapped every single day? You know how many people are being held hostage right now? See, this is why I don't play on these phones and computers. I don't just joust and joke and act silly, because every day I see the news and it is some child that has been kidnapped. Some mother and some family, some father who's lost a daughter, a niece, a nephew, because someone out there is sick in the mind. Same thing with the violence, right? I was out there, as I say, and God forgive me. I don't know if he has. I know I haven't completely forgiven myself, to be completely honest with you. I was locked up for 25 years for, murder and abduction. It was a shooting. 2 men were shot, 3 were shot and 1 died. And I was primarily responsible, right? So, I don't speak to knock. I speak to step on my own toes, but to also speak facts. This gun violence out here in this world is silly. It is simple. And it is tragic. People are dying every day. Can you imagine? Because I know family that have died, from gun violence. Friends, countless acquaintances and associates, countless that I went to school with. Where's such and such? Man, gone. Man, where he at? Gone. Where's she at? Gone. Countless, right? Their parents, their families suffering PTSD. There's not a day go past that they don't sit there and look at their child's picture, their family member's picture. Birthdays that are hollow at that moment. Birthday that belongs to that child. A day to be celebrated, a day where balloons are blown and, cakes are cut and ice cream is scooped, gifts are opened. They don't have that anymore. This is PTSD. And it's not to be made light of. Those of us who have been in prison, those of us who had to endure that. And again, most of us put ourselves in prison. Many are not innocent. And those who are, that is a pain in and of itself. Those who have to do time for something that they did not do. Those who have to be away from their families, their children. I know a guy to this day. He is from Richmond. He's incarcerated. He's been incarcerated probably for about 17 years now. He is innocent. And I don't say this lightly. We were actually roommates. And everybody from his area in Richmond, they've said that. They were like, man, he didn't do it. Such and such did it. People know who did it, because what happened was a guy shot somebody and he ran through the buildings. And, 5 minutes later, and I've mentioned this before, my old roommate, he walked through the buildings being curious, nosing, what's going on? And a woman saw him, and him and the guy kind of seemed, they're similar in appearance. Dark skin with kind of whitish eyes. She said, there you go. He jumped back, but he didn't run. And he got 66 years. No gun, no gunpowder residual on his hand, none of that. He was sitting on his building's front for a whole hour. And the guy that did it actually saw him 3 weeks later in the jail, Richmond City Jail. They spoke. Guy said, I'm not turning myself in, man. It is what it is. The guy got out. He had a coke charge, got caught with some drugs. He got out that weekend. And eventually he did get locked up for another murder charge. But he won't take what my old roommate is locked up for. And about 6 years ago, maybe, my roommate's 15-year-old son was killed in Richmond. He was a junior. And I remember when we were roommates, man, he had a little picture. They looked so much alike. The youngin looked nothing like his mom. He looked so much like my roommate that every time I saw him, I'd be like, man, that was your baby picture, man. That's your baby picture. He'd be like, nah, man, that's my boy. That's my boy right there. Look at him, my little boy. 15 years old, killed. And his father couldn't be there to help him, to guide him, to aid him. And his father, he was a drug dealer. He was doing wrong out there. So he wasn't innocent of that. But that's not what he got 66 years for. And so in prison, I know guys who have lost family members. And again, they were in prison, many deservedly, many having earned that, right? But again, Prison is supposed to be about punishment, but also rehabilitation. So imagine those who want to be rehabilitated, those who would like to really sit down, open their minds, open their hearts, and the environment won't allow. You know, you can't give a soup away, because if you give a soup to somebody, 5 people looking to come borrow soup. Hey man, can I get a soup? Can I get a soup? And you'll say, sure, you want to be kind. But then they take advantage of it. So now I go from 5 to 10 asking for a soup a day. So when you say no, now you got those who want to take your soups. And so you grow cynical. You no longer want to share. You know, you have guys that are generous, committed a crime, whatever that crime may be. Let's say something light, crime nonetheless, but let's say something light. They may have been hardworking men on the street, fathers and husbands, and they're coming in an environment where you got young guys, they faces balled up. All day they walking around because they're from projects, inner cities, where all they know is fight one another. All they know is, hurt, be on the top of the hill mentality, take or have it taken from you, And I've seen guys, man, that were in for, writing some bogus checks, crashing their cars because they were drunk and injuring someone. And they in the cell, man, with a guy that done killed 4 people behind a gambling debt. In the cell with a guy who has in the system stabbed 6, 7, 8, 9 people. They get into an argument. Now they're stabbed. PTSD. So when these guys come home, there are those who are family members and friends, and they wonder, why is he so quiet? Why does he seem like he stayed to himself? And this is not everybody, because some people's expression of PTSD is, they are eager to be in people's company, right? I want to read some symptoms. It says PTSD symptoms are generally grouped into 4 types: intrusive memories, avoidance, negative changes in thinking and mood, and changes in physical and emotional reactions. Symptoms can vary over time or vary from person to person. So, like I said, you have some people that have to be around a lot of people because the social interaction, the noise, the constant action, the constant noise, the constant presence of people allow them to avoid what is haunting them. Sometimes people can't sit and be quiet or be alone. I read a quote one time. It says, silence is the loudest noise. I love that quote, man, because it is. I can hear a horn blaring. That's loud. It's annoying. I can hear music blaring, and that's annoying. You looking around like, man, or, you hear an alarm and it's going, that's annoying. But man, when you're quiet and you have demons, you hear them, they whisper, man, you should apologize. You wrong. And then something else comes behind that. But you ain't really wrong. You did that because, you ain't wrong. But something else is telling you you're wrong. And this is a constant battle in your mind. Man, you shouldn't have did that to her. Man, you shouldn't be lying to her. Man, you shouldn't be disrespecting him. Man, you shouldn't be treating him like that. Man, you should share yours. Man, you need to offer that. Man, you need to apologize. Man, you need to grow up. Girl, you need to evolve. Girl, stop acting silly. This is what we hear when it is quiet. So we don't like that. So we turn up the music. We stay drunk. We stay high. We stay around people. We stay occupied because silence is loud. And until we look in that mirror, each and every one of us, we're not going to evolve. But those that suffer extreme PTSD, we need therapy. And there are those people, man, that they look functioning. They go to work. They pay bills. They take care of their responsibilities. That is the automatic thing for them. That is what allows them. That is the routine that I spoke on in one of my videos in prison. That is also on the street. People have routines, and that routine, if broken, could shatter them. So they maintain that routine. They maintain that routine with a firm grip, right? But they still are suffering on the inside. They might have seen too much. They might have seen their father beating their mother, and that bothers them. So relationships are hard for them to have. Or a man getting angry scares, or a woman, getting dissatisfied scares some men because they seen their mother leave their father a lot. And so now they try to hold on as best they can. They try to threaten to hold on. They try to buy stuff to hold on. They try to lie to hold on, but they don't want to see him go. But they don't really work hard enough at being better to keep him. See, there's answers to everything. Sometimes the answer is just to be better than you used to be. Sometimes the answer is just to be greater than you used to be. But sometimes we don't want to look in the mirror, so we always think it's the next person. We always believe it's their fault. We always believe it's her fault. It's his fault. And there's probably truth to that. Other people are to blame for what has happened to us in many ways. Parents are to blame. Parents don't always do the right thing. Some parents don't sit down and read to their children. They don't tell their children go to college. They tell them go to high school, but they'll minimize the vision of the child because their own visions are minimized, or they impose their fears. They don't have money for college, so they don't talk about college to children because they don't want the children to eventually say, I want to go to college, mama. I want to go to college, daddy, But the parent may not have that type of money, may not have been willing to make that sort of sacrifice. This is PTSD, even for the child. For the child to grow up and not know that they can own businesses, that they can run businesses, to always think that they're just meant to be workers. And we all should work for someone. That's okay too. And you can do a great job at that and the best job at that. But we can own. We can be owners, but we're not really taught that at a young age. We teach our children how to fight, how to sip beer, how to take a little puff, just to laugh and giggle, how to twerk, how to dance sexual. This is what we teach our children. We don't sit them down and just read to them slowly read to them, guide them, sacrifice that time. And I don't have children. God knows I want one or two, but I don't have any children, but I have a lot of family members, man. And I do my best to do, reading and writing with the babies. And because I sit back and look at where I could have went better. I used to sit there and do my little brothers and sisters' homework. I used to help them do their homework, and I would do it sometime for them. Not all of them. They had like 10 sentences to the right. I'd do 3, help them. But I would also sit there and, try to push them to do more. So, but I sit back and I study this PTSD thing because it is not just isolated to guys and women who have been in the physical combat, the Desert Storms, the Korean War, the Vietnamese War, the Iraq, Iran, Syria wars, and they suffer. They suffer. I watch so many documentaries on the suffering of those fighters, those combat veterans, those soldiers. But I also study those fighters, those combat veterans, those soldiers in the inner cities, in the world, not just inner cities, because even in rural areas, you have children who are watching their parents fight every day. They're watching their mothers suffer, their fathers suffer, and that is affecting them. They may be going to a great school. They may have a bank account, but inside they have pain. And no one is willing to address that pain because they have to wear a brave face because to expose your pain, to cry, to say that I'm going through it, the first thing we do is compare your pain to what I've been through. Man, I'm just, man, life was hard, man. My mom, my father slapped her once. Man, my father slapped my mom 20 times. You can't even get your pain all before someone else imposes their life on you, right? We have to learn to listen. It is something I'm working on more and more, especially when working with the youth. They need someone that's willing to listen, to relate to them as well. So it is good that you can offer your story and share and not compare, but to let them know that I can empathize, that I've been through what you've been through, similar or more, so I can listen. And when you listen, it's not always your answer is the best answer, you know. And I'll conclude with this. I remember a guy came to me one time, and I mentioned this, a couple of guys, to be honest with you, you know, over different periods of time. And the guy had went to it was a tall black guy from Maryland somewhere, and he was supposed to get a tattoo. So the white guy that did the tattoos, you know, he was pretty good at it, but he had a schedule. He had a lot of work to be done in prison. And so the black guy jokingly went to him and said, "Man, you ain't gonna never do my tattoo, man. What is it? Because I'm black?" And the white guy stole him. Pop! Stole him right in his mouth. Black guy looked at his mouth. What the? And he froze. And, you know, everybody in the power waiting for it to turn to a big brouhaha, because the black guy was one of them guys that he talked like he was just like, you know, he was fashioned from concrete, you know. He thought he was like really hard. He was not. So he came to me, bro, Khalid, man, you know what I'm saying? You heard what happened? I'm like, yeah, I heard. Man, I swear, man, I'm going to punish the dude, man. I'm going to go back. I'm going to catch that wreck. Now, this is what I know. One, he came to me because he's looking for an out. Two, I'm going to give him the out. And I'm going to tell you why. I can't give you advice that if you follow whatever the consequences are, you put your life in my hand. So if I say, man, go smash the guy, and you run up in that set and that guy turns around and beats you up or takes a knife and guts you, I done gave you that battery, right? That's what we call it, putting a battery in someone's back. So I didn't believe in doing that. Now, in my mind, I'm like, what you come to me for? As soon as he'd have fired on me, I'd have dragged him. I'd have punished him. That's in my mind. That's not what I tell him. You know, that's not what I tell him. I say, nah, man, you get visits. Your daughter comes to see you, you know. You came and do wrong. You threw race in there, and this guy is a white guy with 3-4 white guys in the pod and 50-60 black people in the pod. You say that, you get away with that. Who else is going to try to carry this man? Who else is going to see him a funny way? Who else is going to disrespect him? What type of environment have you produced for him by saying that if he did not respond the way he did? I said, assess yourself, man. Check yourself, man. You know, go holler at him, though. You know, find out what's in the air. I don't believe in having question marks in the air when I walk. I don't want to think, what is this guy going to do? What is going to... Nah, if I had an issue with a guy, I knocked on his door. Hey, man, can we speak? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Where we at with it, you know? And it can be peace. It's, you know, I can appreciate that. So what is it? You know, let's get this out. Because if we got to throw, let's throw now. Because I've seen guys argue and someone thought it was over. Nah, and it wasn't. You know, it wasn't. So my thing is, a guy I used to know, man, and he's a decent guy in his own right. He used to have this saying, and I liked it. So I've adopted it. He said, it's nothing like a good understanding. You know, the Bible says in all things, seek understanding. So my man used to say the same, you know, it's nothing like a good understanding. So if we don't like each other, let's just understand that. Okay, I don't like what you do. You don't like what I do. Whoa. Let's just respect each other. Let's just give each other that common courtesy. We don't have to deal, but we don't have to disrespect. So it's nothing like a good understanding, right? So we should understand PTSD. You know, we see the homeless. Let's try to understand them a little better. We see family members acting all wild, acting all out of character. There's a root to it, and I'm not saying justify it or defend it. I'm just saying understand there's a cause to that. You know, people have suffered. People are enduring a lot and are striving daily to just make it, you know. And we could be doing better if we helped each other. If we were a little more merciful with each other. If we were a little more kinder to one another, we would do a lot better. So, you know, hopefully something I said resonated. Again, I appreciate you all listening. I'm still studying me. So I'm no expert in any of this. I don't have letters behind my name, PhD, BA, BS degrees, MA or MS. I don't have none of that. I just study myself, and I do that every day. And I work on myself every day. And I'm not perfect. And I'm striving to do and be better. And so again, I appreciate you all. I thank you all for listening. I thank you all for taking your time out of your schedules, man, to you know, lend me your ear and lend me your time. It is precious. So I appreciate you again. Check me out on Facebook, you know, Khalid Kareem. Check me out on Instagram, Khalid Kareem 75. I am who I say I am. And again, I'm just striving to do and be better and help where I can because I owe. Thank you all. Have a great day and peace.